Hey there, content creation, day 8, part 2. Um, got some different stuff to talk about. Today was church day, so I went to church, just got back, have more stuff to talk about. Today, I wrote down, it's the real work, and this kind of goes beyond words. There are no words on this page, but just important stuff. People do get caught up on a lot of the wrong things. Be that, well, just getting hung up on stuff in general. About people, what people think or say or do that doesn't have to do with you, doesn't inhibit your progress. Quite frankly, shouldn't have much power over your life. We do live in a time where people are hyper fixated on what everyone else is doing, whether it really affects them or not. And then that's when you get into people power tripping and, so many things. There's more to talk there. But honestly, been a trip lately, about a month, getting more into the Bible, the Word. It does provide a level of peace that it's kind of hard to come by. I think it's just core principles and things to keep in check with, make sure that you're not forgetting. That honestly, just people out and about, they don't always have a focus on. So, anyways, back to the real work. Tomorrow I'm going to talk a bit about emotional intelligence, so that's going to be a whole talk. That is part of it. The real work in my mind is setting a certain mindset and understanding of things around you that is really just going to carry you through all of what you do. It's going to put you through career and lifestyle decisions. It's going to be how you perceive people. It's going to be really just how you operate as a person. And there's so many complexities to it that I couldn't just say in a single conversation. But it's all those things. And many times people get in the way of themselves and what they want to make. But you let go of all that stuff that's not important. You get out of the way of yourself. You realize that you are infinite, that your potential is infinite. Things go a lot faster, right? Because when we put up a cap on our head to think, I can only do as much as has been presented by other people around me, you instantly limit your progress. You instantly put a limit on what you're capable of within a certain time span. You might say, I saw him, her, and them do something in 30 days. And you're thinking, okay, well that means I can do it in 30 days or maybe it takes longer. But that is not always the best thinking, although it's conventional thinking, and maybe it makes things safer. It is not always the best thinking because it's a limiting mindset. So time frames, the magnitude of the thing that you can do. You have to let a bit of that go. And then when we talk about emotional intelligence, I would say, in simple terms, it is knowing that your emotions do pass. Anger, upset, disappointment for yourself or others is always gonna move on. So you don't need to get hung up on it, although it's easier said than done. So when you have that awareness and perspective, you're not gonna get hung up on things and stopped in your tracks for super long. Doesn't mean don't have emotions, doesn't mean disregard everything that you feel, but it is a choice to sort of abandon thinking that limits you or doesn't put you on the path that you need to be. So that's more of a talk for tomorrow. But the real work is also knowing your patterns as a person. You know, what might anger you or what might slow you down because it's a belief you have, and choosing to change it. One thing I talk about a lot on here is freedom to choose. You do have freedom to choose, so just because you don't make the choice doesn't mean the choice isn't being taken. So inactively choosing is still choosing, and that is something you have to be careful of. I'm very big on, and my learning lately has been subconscious versus conscious mindset and thinking, and there is a degree of higher understanding you can have when you dive into your subconscious, what you don't typically think about, bring it forward, understand what that all means. So that's good. That's good. That gets people a lot further along the road. And I think I've picked up on that. The real work is being real. So speaking your mind more. I know I've been doing that. Still a ways to go. But when you speak your mind, people that want to do the same things or align with you are maybe going to speak their mind a little more. They're going to put more effort. They're going to be more motivated. It really just starts a whole revolution, I guess, if you want to be dramatic. So all of that is good stuff. So part of my goal with the channel is maybe to open people's eyes to some things that they aren't thinking about, or maybe they have and they just want to dive into more. So had the church service today, got some good messages. So there's some key points. Prosper wherever you go. That's huge. So just because you are in a place that maybe you didn't ask for, you didn't want to be, you can still enjoy it. You can have peace there, and you can build something there, even if it's where you didn't want to be. God is with you wherever you go. If you're not a Christian, you can just hear that. There's more video to go through. Be strong and of good courage. This is huge. We resist change because we are comfortable where we are. And at some point, comfort should not matter, or you can disregard it as being important. It doesn't allow us to move forward. And challenge changes the process for which we achieve a goal. Challenge changes the process. So let's say you are building a restaurant. You're like head chef. You're building it. You're making the menu and all that. Challenge may be parts along the way of, like, maybe financially we can't bring these certain menu items or whatever it is that you want to have because it doesn't make sense. Or maybe a challenge is employees. You can't bring the employees on the time frame that you thought. Or there's just ways of running the business that people will say, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. And you can choose to abide by that because it'll probably make stuff easier. And maybe a lot of times you should. But the challenge changes the process. So you might have to take some leeway one way and then put it into another space. So financially, you might need to cut back on one thing to make another thing that you really want work out. So challenge just changes the process. It doesn't annihilate the end goal. So we often settle for the problem because it feels like the process that has been altered from the challenge is too big. And we don't want to do the work for the solution. So And a lot of places you end up, you don't end up there by coincidence. I don't really believe in those. Um, but sometimes the place you end up will create a new being or a new feeling on your heart, or what you believe, or your perspective being altered. That creates a new vision, perspective, and then new prosperity. It can be financial, mental, any other capacity. 3 big points. And the other big things are, don't wallow in the now if it's not good. You can identify with the good, identify with the vision that is good. It's going to bring you forward, bring you motivation. So it's a matter of what you're looking at, what your attention is brought to. So if things don't feel good, focus on the good that will be, and there will be good. So that was a good one. But yeah, the real work. The real work is the stuff that you want to avoid, that looks sketchy or dangerous or other people don't do, and you will be rewarded because you've done it, because you took the time and did what others didn't want to do. One thing for myself, I talked to my roommate the other day, but I feel like earlier on when I was younger, I had the tendency to not really stop where other people did. So you think of maybe a social event, like a party, people don't want to dance or be seen or look awkward. I don't care. Just go with the groove, feel it, and if you aren't thinking about people judging you, in a way, they can, or they might in their mind, but if you don't accept that, and you just have fun, like, what is there to lose? There's not really. So you don't always have to look side to side because people aren't moving forward. You can just move forward, and a lot of times people will follow you, or they will go anyways at some point. But you don't have to be afraid to be the first. You don't have to be afraid to be the first. That is a thing that trips people up so often, as they think, I can't be the first one because that's scary, or maybe being first doesn't work out. But what being first does do is it has people following you, so they might want to give or invest into you because they know you're willing to try first and fail and get better and do the work that other people don't want to do. So props to you for doing it, and if you're not, someone else is going to get it. So there's more to preach on that kind of stuff. This is a good start. I feel like, I wanted to kind of tackle this in one video, but this is bigger than a video. Some of the work and content I want to make wants to be in this realm of the real work. I talked about that last video, which I'm posting today, but this one is tomorrow. Or sometime soon. I might edit it up. But tackle the real work, the work that's uncomfortable, not just because it's uncomfortable or looks dangerous, you have to do it. But you have an innate, intuitive sense of what you need to do, and you don't need to ignore that for too long, because that elevates the fear of that thing, that it's dangerous. And when you sit on that and you don't move, that fear is going to enlarge to a level to where it's going to be really difficult later. So tackle it early. And you will be rewarded. Maybe not in the time frame you're looking for, but you will be rewarded. So do that. Get people involved. Keep pushing. And that's all today. Start the real work, and the real work will reward you. And other people will want to do the same. So good stuff today. Remember, the day is good. Say that before it begins, and it will begin.